गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We saw last week, in the fourth verse, what? Yajante satvika devan yaksha rakshansi rajasaha pretan bhuta ganashchanye yajante tamasa janaha. Sattvic type of men worship gods, rajasic type worship gnomes and demons, and tamasic type worship ghosts and hosts of other spirits. And thus, this is how it has been classified. This is not to judge other people. Before we continue, we are in Jnaneshwari, Bhavartha Deepika of Jnaneshwar Maharaj, chapter number 17, verse number 5. We are going to start OV number 93. So, in the fourth verse it was told, he who preserves this sattvic faith has no apprehension about the attainment of liberation. See, he may not have studied the Brahma Sutras or the scriptures or become acquainted with the Vedanta doctrines, but if he follows the footsteps of those who have comprehended the meaning of the Vedas and the Smritis, and who, by their exemplary conduct, have become worthy of being adored by the whole world, he wins the same place as they do. Not by copying. Not by copying. Not by copying the actions of the great masters. Not by copying the person who is well versed in the scriptures. But instead, he doesn't want to go through the hard work of studying the scriptures. He gets confused. Should I follow this? Should I follow that? Should I? No. Sattvika person, what is the first thing? That his mind is at peace. He is not worried too much about liberation. You will also find that where is this urge to liberate? This urge to liberate is only as long as you are rajasic. But and even in sattva initially, but as the mind becomes purified, this deep conviction, disposition, understanding that everything is just as it is, everything is just as it is. Where am I going to go to after liberation? Where is the waker going to go to liberate in sleep? Not possible. Where is the husband going to go and liberate? What is liberation for the husband? To go back to the man. Can he go back to the man? No. So you are smiling, you are understanding, you may be nodding, you may be understanding, but this is the mistake, this is the disposition which comes about as a result of purified mind. Purified mind does not mean zero thoughts. Purified mind means that you are undisturbed by the thoughts. And when you are undisturbed by the thoughts, sukha dukkha samay kritva labha labha jaya jayo, when you are equanimous in joys and sorrows, in heat and cold, in hunger and thirst, in gain and loss, then automatically this disposition comes about. Just like whole day you work hard because that is what it requires to be done, automatically sleep comes. Automatically waking up happens. Think. Automatically dream happens. You don't decide I am going to dream this or dream that. You don't, in the sleep there is no thought. Then how come you woke up? But waking up happens. How long can you push the sleep and not go to sleep? Eventually it will come. Everything is happening naturally. Don't create a momentum where there is none required. If you create a momentum by way of desire, then we will never reach or we will never come to abide. Momentum is rajasic. Sattva is where the momentum is there, but it has calmed down to a considerable extent. If you want to understand it in this manner. Eating quickly, washing quickly, walking quickly, nothing wrong. But always trying to get somewhere, always trying to do something, never able to sit at peace with themselves, even while activities are going on. There's only rushing from one A to B to B to C to C to D to D. We are not allowing the natural flow to happen. If you allow nature to flow, very quickly you will find yourself at peace. Then why we are not finding ourselves at peace? Why we are not calm within? Only one reason: desire-oriented living. We want to achieve something, we want to gain something, we want to experience something. Desire-oriented living. And when it says here, the sattvic person, he is not worried about liberation. He is not worried. If you have studied Vedanta, no worries at all. You are already realized. Everyone is already realized. Only they don't know it. And if you try hard to remove the mind, you will create even stronger mind. So the right interaction is required with the mind. And others who are not interested in studies, they follow a master, they follow a teacher who is well versed in the scriptures, whom people feel respect a lot. They say he is a great master, he is a realized master. Listen to them, but don't follow their actions. Follow their teachings. And such people, if you see, those who follow Shirdi Sai Baba, those who follow Gajanan Maharaj, those who follow Jnaneshwar Mauli, those who follow Mahavatar Babaji, they have got no doubt. They know that he will take care. And even those people like Namdev Maharaj, they follow the God. They say, oh, God will take care. He will take care of us. No problem. See, Vedantis, they are not worried at all about the destination, because once it has clicked that we are all realized. Now we have to just work on dissolution of the mind. And how do you do that? By remaining a witness to everything. Live with awareness. Second level is those who are devoted to God. They also got no problem. They say, oh, Hari Ichha. Hari Ichha. Lord's will. I'm not going to worry about liberation or bondage. I'm just going to live my life contemplating on the Lord, living whatever actions I'm doing for the Lord. And they are the seva to the Lord, because Lord alone is the whole world. Lord alone is within. So, Hari Ichha. Everything is Hari Ichha. Those who don't believe in God, but those who believe in masters, as I mentioned before, they also listen to the words of the master, they read their pothis, they read their stories, they listen to their words which have been recorded, or you are listening to a live master. And if you follow those words, follow those teachings, which are the essence of all the scriptures. See, Nisargadatta Maharaj did not read any scriptures. Ramana Maharishi did not read any scriptures. Ramana Maharishi was caught from within. Nisargadatta Maharaj went only to one satsang in Mumbai. And he heard Tattvamasi. And he asked the teacher how to contemplate. The teacher told him. And 2 years later, a realized master came out of the room. See? So, these type of people also have got no problem. The only problem is those who do yoga. What is the problem? There is a big ego. What is the ego? I have to do asanas. I have to control my mind. I have to dissolve my mind. I have to do pranayam. I have to do dharana, dhyan, samadhi. I. If I don't do it, who will do it? And what is the whole journey about? Is it to enhance the I, or is it to dissolve the I itself? It is about dissolving the I, isn't it? So a yogi, when he starts yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, he has a desire. And majority of the people who are going after masters or going to God, they also, when we say Hari Ichha or Guru Ichha, there is Ichha. Ichha means his will. They want their work to be accomplished by signing an MOU with the God or the teacher. I have no power, but I have got lot of desires. You have got no desires, but lot of power. Let's sign an MOU. My desires and your power. Hari Ichha. This is what Namdev Maharaj used to do. Till he went to Jnaneshwar Maharaj's room. Against his wishes, they pulled him, and there the youngest sister of Jnaneshwar Maharaj, because he was such a great devotee, but he still caught up in ego that I am the greatest devotee. So there was Nivruttinath, the elder brother of Jnaneshwar Maharaj, the younger brother Sopan Dev, only 9 years old Muktabai, Gora Kumbhar, Kanho Patra, so many other saints were there. And Namdev was also there. And he was the eldest. He was like a Azoba, grandfather. And these are all youngsters and middle-aged, 20s, 30s. And he is the old one. Bhagwan, Vitthal used to come to him and do his work. If he says, give him food, he will give him food. Give him money, give him money. Heal him, God will come and heal. Hari Ichha. So our Muktabai, how to do this? How do we help Namdev Maharaj to get out of this form identification? So they are too young to teach the grandfather. So they find Gora Kumbhar. Kumbhar is a pot maker. So he starts with Muktabai. With this knuckle, with a stick, tick on the head. Pakkai. Pakkai means it's cooked. Sopandev, cooked. Jnandev, cooked. Nivruttinath, cooked. Kanopatra, cooked. And like that he went to other. And here Namdev Maharaj is squirming. He is sitting away from the crowd and he is squirming. And he comes, "Oh, why you have to do this to me? No, everyone went through, we'll do it." And he did it on his head. And he said, "Kacha hai, ghada kacha hai, the pot is not fully baked." So, out of all that assembly, august assembly of all the saints and sages, of which Muktabai is only 9 years old, or maybe 10, 11 years old at that time. Out of them, the eldest is Namdev Maharaj. When he hears that I am the Kacha one out of all these, immediately he gets up, he feels insulted, he feels ridiculed, he feels great anger wells up in him, and out of disgust from there, he runs back to Pandharpur from Alandi. Why I came with you guys, I don't know, only to be insulted. This, that, and blah, 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 blah. Went. And the river was in spate. He just jumped into the river, swam across. And immediately all these Mahatmas, they decided someone should go. He will not listen to any youngsters. So Gora Kumbhar only went after him. And so he was keeping a safe distance, not to show himself, yet making sure that he doesn't have an accident or he doesn't get lost, or because he was old. And when he reaches Pandharpur, straight away he goes to Vitthal Bhagwan and closes his eyes. And at that time, the first thought that comes out, why did they say that I am Kacha? Why did they say I am unbaked? I have done your bhakti, and they said that I am unbaked. And the moment he offered this turmoil within his heart and mind at the feet of the Lord, he felt a sense of calm. He knew, see, this is the sign of a great man. He knew that there was a shortcoming. He was not where he must be. He was not one with the Lord. And tears started flowing. And then he turned around. When he turned around, he saw this Saint Gora Kumbhar standing right in front of him. And he is looking at him smiling. Like Krishna was smiling at Arjuna when Arjuna was in trouble. He says, tell me what I have to do to become baked. And then he goes. And when he goes, eventually, cutting the long story short, when he reaches one temple, after he's sattvic, he is clean, hygiene. So Gora Kumbhar says, go to that butcher. He will tell you what to do for getting baked. Butcher? Meat cutter? I am a sattvic person. But the moment this question came out in his mind, immediately he put it. He wants to become baked now. And follows the instructions, goes to the butcher. And the butcher says, oh, so Gora Kumbhar has sent you. Vitthal Bhagwan has guided you to come to me. You're okay to listen from me who is cutting meat? Does this allow you? He says, please tell me what to do. He says, go to that temple on the top of the hill. There you will get the answer. And when he goes there he finds one master lying with his feet on the Shivlinga. Some person. He doesn't know it is a master. And the moment he enters and sees his feet on the Shivlinga, they say it is Tailanga Swami. They say that. I don't know. So he says, immediately again anger comes. How can someone put feet on the Shivlinga? Because he is a God upasak, no? Form. He is after the form. So Shivlinga is a form, and how can papam 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 and scolds that person? How dare you put your feet on the Shivling? Take your feet away. He says, I am an old man. I can't even move my feet. If you are so worried about the Shivlinga is not listening. It comes under my feet. If you are so concerned, please take my feet and move it away from the Shivlinga. And Namdev Maharaj holds the feet, takes them away from the Shivlinga, and as he is about to leave them, the Shivlinga moves and comes under his feet again. He does it once, he does it twice, he does it thrice. Suddenly it dawns upon him that the truth dawns upon him. His mind goes beyond form at that very moment. It clicks. It is a click. Ramakrishna Paramahansa, who was so, I will say the word, addicted to Mother Kali, she had taken over his mind. He could see Kali everywhere. It won't go away. But that great experimenter, he said, I want to experience the Vedantic. What Vedanti's experience, I want to experience. He had experienced the Radha Bhav. He had experienced the Hanumanji. When he had the bhav of Hanumanji, his tail started growing. The lower bone, it started growing. When he did the Radha Bhav, he started developing breasts. And they had to stop him. And this way, he tried the all different things he tried. And in the end, he said, I want to see what is this Vedanta. Parabrahma, formless, attributeless. I cannot, my mind is always occupied with Kali. I don't have the power to take her away. And the moment this urge came, this is how universe helps. Uncalled, all the way from Puri. The very next day, Totapuri Maharaj arrived at his place. Come, I'll give you the Nirgun Nirakar experience. Nirvikalpa Samadhi experience. See? So don't misunderstand that reality is only through the scriptures. Allow the nature. You yourself don't know what you are made up of. You don't know your swabhav also. You have to totolo apne aap ko. Assess yourself. Find out. Look at your life and see what are the wrong habits, what is your swabhav, what are your inclinations. Are you interested in studies, or are you interested in tapasya, or are you interested in what you call bhakti, or are you interested in none of this, and just you are happy someone else does the hard work, and as long as he gives you the essence of everything. That's also okay. Find out which one you are. We don't have to copy everyone. Oh, that fellow goes to Vedanta Satsang, I will also go. Oh, that fellow is doing 10 malas of Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, I will also do 11 every day. And become frustrated. That fellow does yoga and pranayama, I will also do. Every day we are changing. Hey Baba, find out where you are at this very moment. Assess. Assess yourself. And don't do it in your mind. Write it down. And that assessment can change over a period of time. But that gives you that this is where you are at this moment. From there, you have to begin. And in this way, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying that if a person succeeds with great effort in lighting a lamp and another without effort lights his lamp on the former, does he get cheated in respect of the light? No. Someone has already lighted. I don't have to go and spend money and buy a matchbox and then come back and then light my lamp. I can light my lamp from the other person's lamp. दिवाली में ऐसे ही करते हैं ना, जब फूलझड़ी जलाते हैं, one फूलझड़ी, and it's when you touch one sparkler with another sparkler, it catches very quickly. But when you take the sparkler to the candle, it takes a long time. Think. So remain in satsang. Always the sparkler is on. So in this manner, therefore, he who follows in good faith those who act according to the precepts of the scriptures more assiduously than himself become liberated even though he is ignorant. So even though they don't know, they have not opened the scriptures, but they are following the masters, they are following those who have studied, they are able to get to the same point, same goal. But what is the ingredient that is required? Shraddha. Shraddha. Everything, last week I told you, everything in life is based on Shraddha only. Now in the 5th verse, Ashastra vihitam ghoram tapyante ye tapo janaha dambahangkara sanyuktaha kamaraga balanvitaha. We read this. I think we did 1 or 2 OVs, but men who undertake severe austerities not prescribed by the scriptures out of ostentation and egoism, overpowered by passion and attachment. And the 6th verse continues, the thought continues in the 6th verse, Karshayanta sharirastham bhutagramamachetasah mam chaivanta sharirastham tan vidhyasura nishchayan. Overpowered by passion and attachment, mindlessly torturing all elements forming their bodies and me too within their bodies, know them to be of demonical resolve. So those who do not follow the scriptures, those who do not follow the Lord with faith, do not follow the scripture with faith, do not follow the masters with faith. So if they are not following these 3 with faith, what are they following? We see so many people going to God, we see so many people studying Vedanta, we see so many people well versed in scriptures, more than us. Can you do the tapasya of Hiranyakashipu or Ravana? Impossible. 10,000 years. We can't even stand for 5 minutes on one leg with hands up. Think. We can't even chant for 10 minutes continuously one mantra without any distraction of any other thought. They did that Om Brahmane Namaha for 10,000 years. Hiranyakashipu did for how long I don't know. So men who undertake severe austerities not prescribed by the scriptures. When we say scriptures, what are we talking about? We told you last week, we are talking about the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutras. This is what we call as scriptures. This is the ultimate. So what about Patanjali Yoga Sutra? हाँ ठीक है. What about yoga? Hatha Yoga Pradipika, this, that, so many different things. So many different scriptures are there if you want to think about it. But what is the essence of all of them? The Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutras. And even if it is not, it's okay. When we read Bhagavatam, whatever is given in the Brahma Sutras or the Upanishads or the Bhagavad Gita, same ideas are watered down and in story form or dialogue form they are being presented to us in the Puranas. Where does Bhagavad Gita come? It comes in the Mahabharata. It doesn't come in the Upanishads. It comes in the Mahabharata. And what is Bhagavad Gita? It is the essence of all the Upanishads. Look. And what is Mahabharata? It is Itihas. What is Yoga Vashishta? It also comes in the Ramayana, the dialogue between Lord Ram and sage Vashishta. High Vedanta. See? Even there, when sage Vashishta is telling Ramchandra ji all the way through stories in Yoga Vashishta, whenever the Ramchandra ji is asking questions and he is explaining so many that this happened, this siddhi came, that happened, this happened. Ramchandra ji did not practice anything. Arjuna did not practice anything. Nisargadatta Maharaj did not practice anything. Ramana Maharishi did not practice anything. Then what did they do if they did not practice? They just let it be. They just let it be. Do you say every day, I am the body? Every morning get up and say, I am the body. I have to breathe. I have to breathe. Do you say that? Do you? Then why you have to say, I am consciousness, I am consciousness? You are already consciousness, man. Why you have to say, I am consciousness? If you don't say that I am the husband every time, or say I am the body every time, or I am the man or I am the woman every day, you don't have to remind yourself. You don't have to, what do you call, you have to, what do you call, convince yourself that I am a man, that I have a mind, that I am a thinking person, that I see. If I forget that I see, maybe from tomorrow by mistake the eyes will start hearing. It will never happen. Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. Why you have to say that you are consciousness? You are. That's it. But when this is not understood, then tapasya begins. Then tapasya begins. Our Parikshit Maharaj in Bhagavad, he had 7 days left. He did not do any sadhana. All he did was listen to Shukdev Maharaj, ask the question and listen with awareness, subjectively. He was not thinking about that I have to teach someone, that I have to, now with this knowledge I will know, all these cannot be realized. I am going. Nothing. He was applying on himself. Are we applying on ourselves while we are listening, or are we collecting information? Think. That only you can answer. Only you can answer. So, here Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, Na shastraचे निकीर नावे, खा करो ही नेणती जीवे, परी शास्त्रज्ञा ही शिवे, टेको नेदिती, वडिलाची या क्रिया, देखो नि वाती वांकुलिया, पंडिता डाकुलिया, वाजवीती, आपले नीची आटोपे, धनित्वाचे निदर्पे, साचची पाखंडाची तपे आदरिती. He says, then there are those who are utterly wanting in the study of scriptures and are not prepared to permit those proficient in the scriptures to cross even the boundary of their town. That means many people, see, where there is yoga physical, hundreds and thousands of people will go. You see, all over the world, so many yoga studios have come. 10-week course, 3-month course, 6-month course, and they have become yoga teachers, teaching asanas and pranayam and dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Themselves don't know what it is, but they are teaching. Blind leading the blind. But you will find crowds in these places. And if someone can whet up the emotions within you, even bigger crowds. Ah, that was so wonderful. Oh, how nicely that person spoke. 100,000, 200,000, 50,000 people. You have to go to India and see how 100,000 people are crying at the same time. Emotion roller coaster. But when you come to Vedanta, how many are there? 10. Some may listen afterwards, but few people. Very few. Because here the whole responsibility is on you only. The teacher doesn't take any responsibility.
Swamiji, in the yoga they are jumping in the body. Well, that is also natural or supernatural?
That is forced. It is imagination. Mind can make anything happen. You can fly. All siddhis are powers of the mind only, no? Not of the self. So that jumping meditation that they say, that happens. But what are you going to gain by making the body jump? What's the big deal you are going to attain
Collect
after?
more crowd. Collect more crowd, Swami.
You want to collect?
No, not me. Saying, if you do that, 100 people, 2,000 people, more people coming.
So these things happen. So understand the principle what we are trying to say. But for Vedanta, for knowledge, always very few people. And such people, if a person with knowledge comes into their ashram or comes into their, they are afraid. What are they afraid of? That he will corrupt the devotees. So they don't invite also. They vet, like they scan you before you go into the airport. They vet whom to call and whoever comes and promotes our yoga, that Mahatma is invited. That person who comes and says that this Mahatma is a great Mahatma who is giving the lecture, then that person is invited. But if some Mahatma is there and you have got no idea what he is going to say, very rarely such masters are called because they will tell the truth. Nisargadatta Maharaj, he used to allow people to listen to him, ask questions. He used to say, ask me anything. And for 10 days he will allow you. But in 10 days, if it has not clicked to you, he says, don't waste my space. Don't waste, because he was living in a kholi, small matchstick house, apartment in Bombay. He says there only 10-15 people can come. He said, don't occupy. If it has not clicked, go and do something else. Let someone else come and benefit. He will throw you out. Or if someone says, but what about devotion? Do we not have faith? Do we not have to do pranayam? He used to say, these things are not available at this shop. Please leave, empty the place and don't come back again. Go to some other shop. Point blank. Point blank. With such banners, people give so much money to the TV channels to host them on the TV so that more devotees can be collected. And then what? Then more money, more followers, more initiations. In Vedanta, no initiation. Here Guru makes sure that he doesn't initiate any student. He doesn't want anyone to follow him. Totally opposite to all other paths. No hang-ons. No burden to carry. See? Then it's not for the faint-hearted, this path of knowledge, to follow the scriptures. So here he says, then there are those who are utterly wanting in the study of scriptures and are not prepared to permit those proficient in the scriptures to cross even the boundary of their town. Why boundary of the town? They don't want such people to come into their house also. Satsang, so many people are there. They will call me. If they are having a party at home, they will call me. They are having drinks. One person did this. Old time sake. Called me. And the husband came with a beer in hand and another person came. I didn't know who he was, but I heard the name. So what do you want? A whiskey or a beer? He says, oh, gin and tonic. Okay, give him gin tonic. Why did they call me here? I had to quickly make a drama and get out of that place. But they will never call for satsang. They will call for food. Many people call for food. They feel feeding a sannyasi is a blessing. But learning from sannyasi, nahi, Swamiji, age has gone now. We can't understand all this, and it is not possible. Just you are here. It's blessings. Thank you. Please bless us. And yet others, they don't even want to call. Keep him away. Keep the Mahatmas away. Never know what they will say. See? Scared. Because they want only such people, as I said before, who say that their conclusions of life are correct. Whereas when we follow Vedanta, every moment you are being hammered from left, right, top, down, everywhere. That whatever you think you have got understood, we say, you are not understood. Notions are being challenged, your convictions are being challenged again and again and again and again. So that you can come to a point where you are not able to hold on to anything and you are dependent, you become empty. They mock at their elders who offer worship and prayer to God and clap the hands in derision at the discourses given by learned men. This is today's generation. This is today's generation. I think even our generation. My parents used to chant Gayatri Mantra. I chanted maybe 2-3 times and then I've left it. They used to say, do the puja. I never did puja in my life. Only when I was taught by Swamiji at the ashram, I did it for 6 months. After that, even while doing puja, I used to go into meditation. I stopped doing it. So formal worship, when I used to feel bad, I kaise hoga. So then when I came to Melbourne, then I used to Ram Navami, Krishna Janmashtami, Guru Purnima. थोड़ा तो याद रहे कि steps क्या हैं. So that's my puja. At the outer level. Inner is different story. If we are contemplating on the self, that is the highest puja. But today's kids, they want to know why we ring the bell, why we light the lamp, why we play the conch, why there are so many gods, why Ganesha has a crooked trunk, why he has got only one tusk and one half tusk, why he has got an elephant head, blah 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 blah, why he has got 4 hands, this is abnormal, this, that. There's so many questions. And now, as the time is passing by, everything that we were a junk culture, now everything is coming back to home cooked. If you don't learn, nature has to do something. See? So they mock at their elders, they say they are foolish, they are old, they are superstitious, they are too orthodox, that they to put the, when we, just for example, when we eat food, we put some food out of the plate on the side of the plate on the ground, and then we take the Achman, Brahmarpanam Brahmavi, and then 3 times we take 3 sips of water. What is this stupid orthodox? What is the point of doing this? Why can't you drink it from a glass? If you drink from a glass, you will drink too much. When you do Achman, that much water is required to lubricate the whole system. If our elders said, don't drink water after food for half an hour, 45 minutes. Oh, what will happen? What will happen? Try, eat, drink. Now science is also saying the same thing. So when science says it is correct, when our elders say it is wrong. See? They follow the austerities practiced by the heretics, being full of conceit of their greatness and intoxicated with their riches. I have already explained this. All these, when I was in Delhi in January, February, just before COVID began. At that time, I went to someone's house for Bhiksha, and this girl is very well educated. She's in a big company. She said, Swamiji, I'm learning yoga. I said, why you want to learn yoga? For yourself and for flexibility? Yes, that also. But eventually, in another 5, 7, 10 years, once I'm proficient at it, then I want to start out on my own. I don't want to depend on these companies. Then what will you do? Oh, I will teach private yoga lessons to once I'm good at it. And I'll charge them. And I can make more money than what I earn at my company. Oh, so you want to learn yoga so that you can make a living out of it. See? See, I used to go to Hobart for almost 10, 12, 15 years I was going there. Only last 3, 4 years I have not, 5 years I have not gone there. There one master comes, some Western or American or Australian, I can't remember, from Brisbane. And the casino there is a big hall and almost 3,000 people it can accommodate. And he gives life lessons based on Bhagavad Gita. And he charges $500 first lecture on Friday evening free, Saturday and Sunday, 2 lectures in the morning, 3 lectures on Saturday, 3 lectures on Sunday. $500. 5 threes are how much it comes to? You calculate. And here we are teaching same Bhagavad Gita free of cost. And nobody wants to come. But if I put this price to it, see, all our classes are free, even Sanskrit. The other day I was, someone came, they said, Swamiji, I want to learn chanting. I said, okay. First thing, first topic, even before Hari Om Swamiji and the next word. What is that? Swamiji, how much do I have to pay you? I said, you are at the wrong shop. No, please tell me. I said, $1,000 is okay. Swamiji, don't joke. I said, when I'm serious, you are saying don't joke. And when I said that I don't charge anything, then you say, Swamiji, you are joking. See? So when you charge, there is commitment. When it is free, there is no commitment. Because now the responsibility is on you, on attendance, on being present. When we are paying and studying, then we want to get the money's worth. That is our mentality. That is how we have been trained by the society. That we have to get our money's worth back. And we'll put all our energies. Oh, I have to get every pie that I am paying to this teacher or to this course. I must get in return. But when it is free, you take it for granted. Let that not be our disposition. Don't go and learn from a hypocrite. We are also hypocrites. We also teach for food only. भिक्षा नहीं होगी तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगी. See? Now from the 96th verse onwards. आपुल्या पुढिल्याचिया आंगी घालून कातिया रक्तमासा प्रणीतया भरभरू रिचविती जळत कुंडी लाविती चेझा क्या ये चेढाच्या तोडी नवसिया देती उंडी बाळकांची आग्रहाचिया उजरिया क्षुद्र देवतावरिया अन्नत्यागे सातरिया टाकती एक अगा आत्मपरपीडा बीजतम क्षेत्री सुहाडा पैरिती मग पुढा तेची पिके वाहू नाही आपुलिया आणि नावे तेही धनंजया न धरी होय तया samudri jaise. He says they draw out flesh and blood from their own bodies and those of others by means of a wood bill and fill up sacrificial posts to the brim. Those who are tantrics, those you see when you are in Lent or Muharram, they hit their body, the blood is coming out. Then if you go to Malaysia during the there is some Thai Pusam is there in Malaysia, Kartikeya temple. You see, they put the swords into their mouth, 10 swords into their mouth, going through their cheeks, and nothing happens to them. They go into the trance and all this is done. All this is not required. But this is all Raja. What he's saying, you see, they draw out flesh from the blood of their own bodies and those of others by means of a wood bill, and fill up sacrificial posts to the brim. You know, ये क्या कहते हैं, जानवरों की बलि देते हैं ना, they offer animals as sacrificial animals to the goddess and gods in the name of spirituality. All this is a no. Nowhere it is written that you have to sacrifice animals or yourself. If you are doing that, then you are a Rakshasa. Only these asuras, they cut their head, they cut their arm and offer it to the Lord. Then they pour these in the burning sacrificial fires and offer them as oblation to minor deities, as the Bhasmasur did, as Ravan did, as Hiranyakashipu did. See? They sacrifice child victims to them in fulfillment of the vows taken by them, and observe fasts for 7 days at a time perversely to propitiate minor deities and obtain boons from them. This practice of doing vratas, Navaratri, 9 days of fasting, very tamasic, very rajasic and tamasic. Best is keep your tummy full, as our Swamiji says, keep your tummy full and mind empty. Don't have to do it's. What are you going to gain by sacrificing children, sacrificing animals? What are you going to gain? So many houses I go. So many houses. Believe it or not. The other day that was Ganesh Chaturthi. And on Ganesh Chaturthi they normally do fast. What is fast done for? So that our mind becomes calm and we spend the day with that calm mind, which is only eating fruits and milk, minimum ahar, sattvic ahar, and majority of the day is spent in contemplation or chanting of the name of the Lord. But you know what our Amma did? She made 21 types of modak. 21 different types. One with coconut, another with puran, another with this one, that one. So many different varieties. Wow. So what did you do the whole day while you cooked? And what about remembering the God? Yeah, that is okay, Swamiji. Whole day we are, if Navratri is there, instead of chanting the Durga Saptashati, we are only thinking, "Arey yaar, bhook lag rahi hai. I have not eaten for 2 days, yaar. I hope how will I be able to manage 9 days? I think I can take milk." And there we got a big flask of milk always on the side. And keep drinking milk whole day. And keep eating banana whole day. Or keep eating khajur or dry fruits whole day. Who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? Not God. You're fooling yourself. These are the hypocrites. They sacrifice child victims to them in fulfillment of the vows taken by them, and observe. This is what Satyanarayan Puja is also. If we are doing pujas, majority people do puja or they take sankalpa. If I get my business going, I will do Satyanarayan puja. If I get this type of profit, then I'll give so much dan. So already MOU started. If I don't get the returns, I'm not going to do the dan. See? If I get this property, then I'm going to do the havan. So it's a barter. You want your desires to be satisfied by the Lord, and that Lord will be remembered specially only after your desire is fulfilled. If that desire is not fulfilled, we'll look for some other God who can fulfill our desires. See, this is our lot. And then after doing 9 days of Navratri Puja fasting, then we beat our drum to every Tom, Dick and Harry, This is my 3rd year that I did Navratri fast, and I did not even, first time I ate some fruits, second time I drank only milk, this time it was only water. Yeah, it's difficult, but I did it. I. The whole purpose of it was to dissolve the I, and we have lost the plot. Watch. This is not to judge other people. This is to assess yourself. If others are doing it, appreciate it. उनको भी चाबी भरो, और ये क्या मजा गया, इससे भी बड़ा करो ना अगली बार. Minor deities and obtain boons from them. O wise one, in this way they sow the seeds of self-torment and torture of others in the field in the form of their hearts possessed of the tamasic quality and reap the crop. See, some Mahatmas also there, Panditjis are also there. They take a sankalpa. What is the sankalpa? Oh, I'm going to do 108 times Mrityunjay Homa. Who asked you, Bhaiya? Did God ask you? Did Lord ask you to do 108 times Mrityunjay Homa? No, it is His desire. And when questioned, they will say, oh, it is for the Vishwa Shanti. It is for removal of COVID. It is for rains. It is for blessings of the Lord. Gods are always blessing. But did God come and tell you that please do this, then I will be pleased with you? Pathetic. So, in this way they sow the seeds of self-torment and torture. So we were talking about taking sankalpa and then getting everyone busy. Then from the grocery shop, get some donation, get the people to donate. We have to buy these things, we have to buy that thing, things have to come from this shop, that area, all the samagri that is required for the havan or the puja at a big scale. Okay. And if someone doesn't do what they are told, all are volunteers. But if one person doesn't do the job as was required to be done, then anger, then inner circle, outer circle. Look at this. A collection of money, hunda. Then at the end of the whole thing, oh, did we come even or are we positive or negative? Is that the purpose that you did the Mrityunjay Havan for? Who are we fooling? Who are we fooling? And when things don't go according to us, or according to what we deem to be the right way, then we are disturbed from inside. Then we start judging the others. They are only volunteers. And we impose our will on them. And torture of others in the fields in the form of their hearts possessed of the tamasic quality and reap the crop. They are angry, they are unhappy with them. And in the end, all this displeasure, all this anger, in the end, it comes to torment us only, who have organized everything, who had wished this, who had this desire of doing this great event. Think. The state of the demoniacal persons is like that of a cripple who finds himself in the sea without arms to swim across, or a boat in which to cross it. We want to cross this ocean of samsara, but I want to do it my way. I don't want to hold on to the Lord. I don't want to hold on to the Guru. I don't want to follow the scriptures. I want to do it my way. And if my way, then you will find the Guru also who says do it my way. See? See? You will attract whatever your swabhav is, whatever your convictions are. That type of teacher you will invite in your life. Remember this. If you are a trickster, manipulator, you will invite a guru who is a manipulator, who is wearing a garb of a guru. Or you will get used left, right and center because you are afraid of being manipulated. Exactly that will happen to you. If you don't trust anyone, you will not be trusted. If you want something in return, then you will find a guru who will only do something if you give something in return. That is the rule. That is the rule. As you sow, so you reap. So what are the seeds that we have sown in our mind? What are the desires that we are harboring in our bosom? See? So as long as there is desires, we are rajasic. When the desires are about the world, we are tamasic. Continuing from the 101st OV. का वैद्या ते करी सळा रसू सांडी पाय खोळा तो रोगिया जेवी जिव्हाळा सवता होय नाना पडिकराचे निसळे काढी आपुलेची डोळे ते वानवसा आंधळे जैसे ठाके तैसे तया आसुरा होय निंदुनी शास्त्रांची सोय सैंघ धावता ती मोहे आडवी जे कामू करवीते करीती क्रोधू मारवीते मारिती किंबहुना माते पुरिती दुःखाचा गुंडा. He says, Or like a patient who, being cross with the doctor, kicks the medicine and suffers the agonies of his disease. Huh? All Indians are doctors. They want to tell the doctor what is right for them. We are like that. So, like a patient who is being cross with the doctor because he is giving an injection, मेरे को नहीं लेना injection, मत ले भैया. Why did you give me कड़वी गोली? Why did you give me what you call कड़वी को क्या बोलते हैं?
Swamiji.
हाँ?
Bitter, Swamiji.
Bitter pill. Why not sweet pill like homeopathy? You are not a good doctor. I will not take. Then suffer. Or like a person who scoops out his eyes in a quarrel and becomes confined to his house. See? You know whose example is this? Gandhari. You know Gandhari? Because she was asked to get married to the blind Dhritarashtra, she decided, I'm going to put the cloth on my eyes also. If he doesn't, my husband doesn't see the world, I will also not see the world. If she had not covered her eyes, we wouldn't have the Kaurava problem. But she also decided to blind herself. This is how we also, with our eyes open, we are blinding ourselves. How? By getting thought fixated, idea fixated, desire fixated. When we put the blinkers of our desire, we are not ready to see the big picture. We only want to see what we want to see. Satsangs and scriptures, they open your vision. They expand it. Huh? This is because they abandon the path prescribed by the scriptures and wander about aimlessly in the jungle in the form of infatuation. Either they are infatuated with tapasya, they want to, so many people, one of our friends only, he went to our Swamiji, Swamiji, I want to go to Himalayas, I want to live in a cave, I don't want to live in a city anymore. Swamiji said, ठीक है, I appreciate what you want to do, these things, these ideas do come in people's mind, but why don't you, before you go to Himalayas, why don't you, I organize in Lonavala itself, I organize one cave for you, and you go and spend some time there and see how it is, a trial basis. And with big fanfare of his following, they all came. Our Swamiji is going to go to and live in the cave. Swamiji, every week I will come, and if you tell me, keep this phone, and I will call me and I will bring whatever you need. But the Panditji of that temple, he had said, I'll take care of everything, no problems. No, but still, please, 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 and माला वाला चढ़ाई और सब कुछ हुआ, धड़ 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 ढोला बम ये स्वामी जी महाराज की जय, स्वामी जी महाराज की जय, स्वामी जी महाराज की जय. And where is Swamiji going? To go and experiment living in the cave. This was after lunch he went at around 1:30, 2 o'clock. By the time it was 4 o'clock, what happens in India at around 4, 5 o'clock when the dusk happens? Mosquitoes come. And he was attacked left, right, center. He who is used to living in an AC room or under a fan all the time with the वो क्या बोलते हैं वो आजकल लगाते हैं ना इलेक्ट्रिक में एंटी मॉस्किटो थिंग जो भी होता है उसको क्या बोलते हैं पता नहीं, और tortoise mosquito या spray, nothing with him, because he has to practice, he is going for our experiment. 6:30 he ran down from there. Nahi Baba, I am not going to go and stay in that cave. Too many mosquitoes. How can you meditate if there are so many mosquitoes? अपनी औकात पहचानो. In Hindi they say, अपनी औकात पहचानो. Recognize your limits. Are you capable? Then pursue that. I'm going to go to Himalayas. I'm going to go and live in an ashram. Just yesterday only some girl called me. I knew her when she was in the uni, or just finished her uni, and her younger sister used to study with me in the. I used to take classes in those days, and she went to an ashram in India. 7 years she worked there, only to hook a brahmachari and got married and came back. I had given these examples during when they were studying with me, but I didn't expect that you will go and do the same thing. So the whole plot was no, I don't want to get married. I don't want to get married. Then I told her, go and become a brahmacharini then. Do the course, study the course. No, I don't want to do that. That means there is a desire. Then you are waiting and you want an ideal husband. What better ideal husband than a brahmachari who has left everything to come to study in the ashram, and you hook him and make him a husband and give him the lollipop of coming to Australia. Now he loves Australia and she wants to go back to India. So argument begun. Not even 1 year old marriage. See the drama. See the drama. अपनी औकात पहचानो. Recognize where you are, what are your limitations, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and understand. And if you don't understand, then allow the scriptures. And how do you, if you can't study the scriptures, just as what you are doing here, in a satsang, all these points are automatically taken care of. All the questions and doubts which you have never thought, the scriptures address. All that is required is, as Shirdi Sai Baba says, Shraddha Saburi. Have faith and have patience, and things will sort themselves out. Understanding will also come, but be available in a satsang with faith. This is because they abandon the path prescribed by the scriptures and wander about aimlessly in the jungle in the form of infatuation. Many people come to us. This is not today, tomorrow. Just like this girl called me yesterday. Every day some example keeps coming. The other day someone called, Swamiji, I was chanting, I got initiated one day by one Swami and he gave me this mantra. But when I was a kid, I was initiated by another Swami and he gave me this mantra. Now what should I do? Who asked you to go and get initiated by a second time? No, but that mantra did not do anything. I have not grown at all with that mantra. How many times have you chanted that mantra? I used to chant when I was young, and after about 2-3 years of chanting that mantra, then now she is in her 50s, early 50. So for so many decades I have not chanted. Then how can you blame the mantra then? See the stupidity. Then you go and take this mantra. Now confusion. Should I chant that mantra? Am I going against my guru? If I don't chant this mantra, am I going against this guru? We only invite the troubles. Then we only torment ourselves. And then we only get depressed because we can't find a way out. Why do you initiate anything then? Stop. Let life happen. Let life unfold by itself. Like one lady from Hyderabad, she called me. She said, Swamiji, I went with my friend to one Sri Vidya Upasak. And Sri Vidya is the Devi Upasana. In that, all the Sri Chakra Puja and all that, the Paddhati is explained. And she says, he said, come tomorrow and I will initiate you in the Sri Vidya. He has been saying it and I have been finding excuses, but now this time he said, no, you have to come tomorrow. Tomorrow is a very auspicious day. What should I do? She is calling me from Hyderabad. She follows Swamiji, but she can't ask these questions to him, so she calls me. So I said, you say, Swamiji, I never asked you for initiation into Sri Vidya. You want to give it to me. You give it. It's your problem. Now don't put any rules around me that I have to do it every day or I have to do it every month or I have to do every year, something like that. I cannot guarantee that I can follow this. And still, if you want to give me, please do. That courageous girl did and said the same thing to that Mahatma. But that Mahatma was also not less. He says, I see something in you, and therefore this intuitively, this urge is coming to offer this worship, the methodology of this worship to you. What you do with it is your thing. I will not bind you in anything. I think you are beyond it. But I feel blessed to initiate you. She did not know this. In Melbourne, I used to go to so many satsangs. Taoist satsang, Chiching satsang, and Buddhist satsangs. And many times, they used to speak in Chinese or whatever other language they were speaking. And I used to ask questions. I want to know. That's it. And then afterwards they will say, hey, you come here and to this house and that house. For what? No, you come there. And I'll go there to their house. This happened 3-4 times in Melbourne. 4 or 5 times. And then they made me sit down and they initiated me. I can't even remember the mantras now. But at that time, they initiated me. See? Either two ways. Either I needed that blessing at that time by that master in order to move forward in my sadhana, whatever I was doing. Or whatever their motivation, I don't know. I take it that way. See? Don't get carried away. Running from pillar to post. I think that will help me. I think that will work for me. I think this is the easy way out. I think that is the best way out. There is no way out there in the world which can take you to realization. You are your way. Story over. Raise yourself by yourself, in yourself. Uddharet atmana atmanam. And if we are coming to a satsang like we are at this moment, let this be an opportunity to fall back into ourselves. Don't get attached to the person, don't get attached to anything. Already time. Let's conclude quickly. They act as directed by desire. See, I told you, Hari Ichcha, Guru Ichcha. They act as directed by desire, get into the clutches of wrath and belabor others. They get into, because wherever, remember this ladder of fall, you get attached to something, then you desire. If the desire is not fulfilled, there is anger. Wrath is anger. Extreme anger is hatred. And trouble others. With your anger, trouble others. Persecute others. Judge others. show them down, speak wrongly. And what is more, they bury me who abides in their hearts in a pit in the form of misery. Who is this? Who is in the midst of their heart? The I, the consciousness. If all the windows are closed, the sun cannot come. The room will be dark, man. See? Same way, this I is there. It is of the nature of consciousness. But when it is covered with all objectivity, all thoughts of past, future, all excitements, joys, sorrows, expectations, desires, imaginations, concepts, whatever is the nature of that I, which is Satchidanand Swarup, it is not allowed to express. It is not allowed to express. It's covered. फिर क्या निकलता है? सिर्फ धुआं निकलता है फिर. Then only smoke. Only smoke. When we are thinking about everything else other than the I, then there is only misery. Contemplate on the I. What is its nature? What it is? Do I need to become one with the I, or am I already the I? Uddharet atmanatmanam. All this is possible only if we have faith and patience, Shraddha and Saburi. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sit quietly for half a minute. Hari Om.